I've noticed something in the Nick Bosa reporting, and I've only noticed it, but today I really started thinking about it. I was watching Ian Rappaport for the third, the fourth, the fifth day in a row. I don't know how many days he's talked about Nick Bosa. And one thing he has said consistently, it's really the only thing that's different from what everybody else has reported about it. And I was saying this to John yesterday on the podcast. You can go watch our full show or listen to the pod down in the description. And we talked about it a little bit, but then this morning I was watching The Insiders on NFL Network, and it's Pelissero, Rapsheet, Garofolo, and Ian Rappaport said it again, and I started thinking about what does he mean? So he consistently, if you've heard me talk about it or you've seen him give his reports, he says some version of the following. The Bosas, if there's ever going to be a family that knows its value, it's the Bosas. If there's ever going to be a family that's going to miss a game, he said it on KMBR last week. If there's ever going to be a family that's going to miss a game, it's the Bosas. If there's anybody that knows their value, is there anybody that is willing? Today it was some version of like, if there's any family that's willing to stand by their principles, it's the Bosas. Everybody else has some version of they're 2 million apart here or whatever it is. But Rapsheet has been saying that line for 2 weeks. And he's saying it so much that we have to recognize that it means something. And I think what he's saying is that Nick Bosa is willing to sit out as long as it takes. And that means he's willing to sit out a week. It means he's willing to sit out 4 weeks. It means he's willing to sit out 9 weeks, 10 weeks. Oh, well, then his contract gets pushed back. That's what it means. And I think the reason it's not being reported that way, right? Like the extreme version would be, or the most plain version would be, Nick Bosa is willing to sit out the season, right? Like that's what you would say if you wanted to have the most extreme version of that, is because Bosa's agent and the 49ers have kind of agreed to keep their hardball behind closed doors. Their leaks, and they've both had little leaks in this negotiation, have been soft leaks, right? There's really no emotion to it. There's not a threat to it. It's been soft leaks. That's the best way I could describe it. They've been soft leaks. So even though they're kind of violating the spirit of their agreement that they would never take any of these negotiations public, they're both doing it in a way that it's not offending anybody. And it's still getting out the little details they want out, but neither side is going to be, it's not going to affect their negotiations in any material way. So I think that's why you haven't heard Nick is willing to sit out 8 games or Nick is willing to sit as long as this takes. But what Rapsheet is saying is he is not compromising. Now, you could argue this is part of what a good negotiation is. You have to, I've said this for 3 weeks now, until the one side believes you are willing to go to your grave for what you believe in, it's not a holdout, right? We're 44 days that this is basically a holdout. It is a holdout. I shouldn't do air quotes. But until they believe that you are going to do whatever it takes to win this negotiation, you're not really holding out. Until you make people afraid that you're not going to show up, then the holdout hasn't really begun. The holdout doesn't begin until they really believe that you mean business. And the fact that this has taken so long, that it took so long just to jumpstart, and I told this to John yesterday, I think Kawakami wrote a great piece about it, that they were never really, they felt like eventually it would work itself out because reasonable minds can come to an agreement and blah, blah, blah. Rapsheet again, Ian Rappaport again said today that basically what he's saying is there's a difference of opinion about how much money Aaron Donald is making and how much money is then required to make more money than Aaron Donald is making. And that has to be a per year because Aaron Donald was only on a 3-year contract, but it was basically 3 years, $100 million, which means Nick wants 5 years, 170. But I think that's what Rapsheet keeps trying to tell us. He keeps repeating it. Maybe my theory is wrong, but the thing I know that I'm right about is that he keeps saying it for a reason. He keeps saying it for a reason. And the reason is, the message is, we are not compromising. We are not coming down to meet your number. Don't talk to me about, well, positional comps. Don't talk to me about, we're trying to build a championship team here and, we need you at this number. Don't talk to me about anything unless what you're telling me is, yes, we agree. Is it a tactic? I mean, it's Wednesday. So I guess we'll find out when. Saturday? But know this. If he sits out Sunday, he's willing to sit out till Thanksgiving. He is going to sit out as long as it takes. He's got money, family's got money, and Rapsheet keeps saying the same thing. And we should pay attention to what the coded language that Rapsheet is using, because that's the message he's delivering in a soft way, because right now it's got to be soft. But that's what he's saying. That's what he's trying to tell us. Keeping the Faith says, just like when Trent Williams called Shanny at midnight to force his hand before free agency. Kawakami, or maybe it was Grant, said today, it was Shanahan that solved that deal, and it's time for Shanahan to get involved and solve this deal. And it made me think, when we talk about like John Lynch's skill set of people management, we're always talking about John Lynch managing Kyle and John Lynch managing the players. But maybe in this case, that skill set is required in reverse to go, all right, Jed, Parag, organization, I know we do everything based on comps and value and all that, and John said, Middlekoff said this yesterday, but you got to throw that out with this guy, because this guy, there isn't a comp for this guy. Why not just sign him to a 5-year, 175, fully guaranteed? He's clearly the top defensive player. I mean, that's what I was kind of kidding when I said I think he wants a fully guaranteed contract, but maybe I shouldn't be kidding. Now, I do think you get him that number. The reason I don't think it's about full guarantees is because Rapsheet continues to talk about Aaron Donald's AAV. And, the discussion I had with John yesterday was about how, and John has said this for years, he's always been consistent, and it's been correct, right? Like when the agent tweets out the AAV numbers, or where the reporter gets it from the agent to make it look like a guy's making one thing, just look at the guarantee. But in this case, Rapsheet, who I believe clearly has a direct line to the Bosas, he keeps just bringing up that contract, because the biggest AAV contract is different than the biggest overall guarantee contract. That's what makes this deal different, right? The biggest AAV contract and what ultimately the math that leads to the biggest Bosa contract is the Donald deal. The biggest guarantee deal is Joey Bosa's deal, but that deal's 3 years old. So you can't use 102. That's why, and I think the practical guarantee number that gets it done is around 120. It's just a matter of, am I going to be clearly the highest paid guy overall? Everybody focused on the Lance deal, but Bosa suiting up is a far bigger deal. And Kittle. Kittle's not healthy right now. I think the one sneaky that would even be just as big is if Dre Greenlaw says he's going to be back right on time. But I think they've got good linebackers. They do not have really good experience. They got talented. They got 2 rookies back there in Winters and Graham. Okay. Like, they need Dre Greenlaw back too. Somebody just had TJ Watt signed the Wednesday before week 1 for the Steelers last year. Yeah. But he wasn't trying to get more than Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's deal had already been done, and TJ Watt took less than Aaron Donald, right? Everybody should prepare for a 7-game absence. That's what Rapsheet is telling us. The Bosas are telling him, we are not ending this for anything less than what we're asking for. And you're not going to talk us into it. We've come this far. The Bosas are, nobody is more principled. He keeps saying it. No family. If anybody's going to do it, it's these guys. So that's what they want you to believe. We'll find out if they mean it. But what Rapsheet is saying, he's warning everybody, he means it. This is one instance where the 49ers can't get the better end of the deal when signing the player. Niners need to take a loss. I thought we were trying to win Super Bowls. That's been Middlekoff's point. Sounds like they want to pay him Donald money and Bosa wants QB money. Yeah, I mean, QB money is even bigger, right? I mean, the Kyler Murray contract is massive. That's 170 guaranteed. So, that's 40 plus million a year. I don't think he's looking for that. I think he's looking for 34, 30. I think he's looking for, Rapsheet laid this out yesterday. There was 3 years, 95 was the Donald deal, plus another $5 million roster bonus. And he keeps saying that's the discrepancy, is how much is Aaron Donald actually making? And the Bosas would say, well, he made $100 million, so he made $100 million. And the Niners are saying, well, it's a 3 for 95, and that $5 million roster bonus was something different. Starting to think the Hargrave signing was in preparation for not having Bosa. I don't think so. You need them both. You need them both. You needed Hargrave to shore up the middle of your line, and you because you're less deep now, and you need Nick. Mike Silver said something interesting today. He said, when you talk to other coaches about preparing for the 49ers, the first thing they talk about is preparing for Bosa before they even talk about preparing for McCaffrey. They talk about preparing for Bosa. Missed the playoffs if we don't have Bosa for 8 weeks. I don't think you missed the playoffs because the NFC is bad. I think Thursday night begins everybody's realization that Detroit isn't the Cinderella team of 2023. I don't think that's happening, but because they're going to lose tomorrow to the Chiefs without Chris Jones or Travis Kelce. So, but, the standard isn't make the playoffs. Bad team, mediocre teams make the playoffs now. Occasionally you've gotten in years past a mediocre team here or there, but now the playoffs have expanded to the point that slightly above average teams make the playoffs. So they can make the playoffs, but that's not the standard here. Losing in the wild card round on the road is not the standard. I got us going 7-10 without Bosa. Season has a big gray cloud hanging over it. I wouldn't go that far yet. It's long way to go. Too many conspiracy theorists. He's not here. And the reports for a week have been they're really close. They're this close. They're this close. So, my attitude when it comes to reports, when it comes to media journalism work, right? Journalists reporting, is that sometimes they say things that sound like fluff. I think if you just heard Rapsheet once, if you only caught one, if you had 5 different people who each caught, here's one way to think about it. If you had 5 different people who had each heard 5 different Ian Rappaport reports, and they got together, and he said, all right, let's combine what we all learned from Rapsheet. They would all have this line in their notes that says something to what I've been talking about, something to the effect of, if any family's going to do it, it's the Bosas. And if they'd been, private investigators or FBI agents or people who just follow this stuff like you and me do, they'd go, wait a second, this same line appears in every report. Is Rapsheet just babbling, or is there a reason he keeps repeating this, repeating it? I think there's a reason he keeps repeating it. And I just gave you my theory as to why he keeps repeating it. So, come on now. So I think we should listen to him. He's saying there's no way you win this. The only way you win this is if you get Nick Bosa on the field. And that's a win. That is the win, is you get the player. In the same way that you go, well, when you draft a punter in the 3rd or 4th round and people go, oh, that's crazy, or kicker in the 3rd round, people go, oh, that's crazy. You go, no, the way we win that value deal is if the kicker is our kicker for the next decade. Nobody says it's crazy. When you trade up multiple 1s to 3 without knowing the quarterback, people go, that's crazy. You go, nah, if we nail it, if that guy is our guy, then you would pay 3 times that, right? If you say, I don't know, it's a steep price, trading 3 1s or flip-flopping 1 1 and then trading 2 2s. If you said you nailed your franchise quarterback, you would have traded 6 1s, right? If you had said, oh, you're trading up, you got to trade 5 1s to go get Josh Allen in the draft, it'd be crazy until you hit. And I think Bosa is kind of the same way, right? I don't know, it's a crazy amount of money, except unlike draft trades, you actually know what you're getting in this case, and it's one of the best players in the NFL. So that's the win. The win is you got one of the best players in the NFL, and the Bosas keep saying, That's the only win you're going to get. And in the end, you're going to be happy about it because you got me, and I'm that good. I'll take Bosa week 8 for a franchise. I'll take Bosa in week 8 for a franchise tag the next 2 or 3 years. Better than no Bosa at all. But again, Bosa, he wants you to believe that he's not showing up. You can push it, kick his contract another year down the road. He's not showing up. Keep this in mind. He plays with a guy who sat out a year. Trent Williams. He plays with his equal on the team is a guy that sat out a year. And he wants you to believe that he's willing to do the same. All right. That's that for right now. Thanks for your feedback. Thanks for hanging. Rapsheet is reporting the Bosa family spin. Bosa wants to play. He's pressuring the Niners. I don't know if either one will budge. They got to meet in the middle. Yeah, I mean, the Niners have to decide, well, we know Nick Bosa. Are they bluffing on Wednesday, September 6th, or are they serious? I've kept thinking this deal is going to get done, but it's not because I think Bosa is going to capitulate. It's because they'll believe him when he says, I'm not showing up. And maybe it's going to take another week. I don't know for them to get, or maybe he'll sign in an hour. We'll see. But they've been banging the table saying, we're not bluffing. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be back in 20 minutes with a Bosa signing. Maybe not. But while you're here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. And don't forget, Haberman and Middlekoff, the YouTube and the podcast is brought to you by Tito's. Tito's handmade vodka, crafted to be savored responsibly. As always, send us photos of you enjoying your Tito's football season here. Plenty more to talk about before Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that little bell as well. We appreciate you helping grow the channel. And I'll talk to you later. All right, that's that. There you go.